Hello there, and welcome to the Marketing SOS Show. I'm your host, Eric E., and the purpose of the Marketing SOS Show is for me to work with people just like you, listeners of the show, who have questions in the realms of marketing and business. And I do my very best to use my expertise and my experience to help answer and put you on the right track. So whether you have a question, an issue, a giant issue, a small issue, or whether you just want advice or a sounding board for an idea, I'm here to help. So drop me a line at eric@marketingsos.ca. And who knows, your question could just be featured on an upcoming episode of the show. Just like today's question from Cassandra, who's looking at finding out how to jump on an opening at work, how to make sure she positions herself and markets herself to those hiring managers and senior leadership to get this new manager position that's opening up. So let's hear from Cassandra just after this. So, Cassandra writes, "Hi Eric, there's an opening coming up at my work, and I need help getting it. A manager in another department is retiring later this year, and I think I'll be in the running for her position if I apply to it. What I'm wondering is what I can do now to better position myself for this promotion. The role is somewhat related to what I do now, but I do lack experience in several areas that this person is doing. I haven't managed a team before either. How do I convince the higher-ups to take a shot on me? I genuinely know I would be great at this role and would impact positive change on the team and organization. Thank you, Cassandra." So Cassandra, congratulations. It sounds like there's an interesting opportunity here for you. So let's see what we can do to help you get it. It sounds like you've identified some areas that you need experience and improvement in. Double down on them now and get that experience. You have some lead time before this person retires, so get that experience now and start working towards it. If you have a good relationship with your boss and they care about your advancement, ask them what you need to work on to be considered in the future for that kind of role. Hopefully together you can work on a plan to get those. If they aren't responsive, you can still go out and do this by yourself. Get put on the projects, lead the projects, and start practicing getting people motivated and working towards common goals. This is management for you. Watch the timelines and milestones in the project. This is as much about management practice as it is about being visible to senior leaders as well on high-profile projects. Now, depending on your company culture and your relationships with those involved, you could approach the person retiring or their boss about the position. Now, there are several ways to do this, but feel it out for yourself. Find what feels right. You could show your interest and ask what you need to work on, but I would maybe approach it a little more indirectly. I would approach it as a fact-finding mission to learn more about it without asking for feedback directly. Curious to know more about the job. What are the demands like? What does someone need to possess to excel in it? You don't want to be a vulture circling this role, but asking questions to see if you really understand what the role entails, and it'll get them thinking about you in mind when this position opens up. Now, you mentioned that you lack experience in several areas that the person is doing. Start getting that experience now, whether you're doing it during your work hours on like projects or after hours on your own, through courses or your own side projects. When it comes time to interview, if you were asked about your lack of experience in one particular area, or to describe your experience in one of these particular areas, you can explain that you are addressing this lack of experience or that you're actively gaining this experience by doing X for several months, and mention some things you have learned and what you plan to continue to master in the future. Now, this is the kind of the answer that you always have or have up your sleeve to that age-old interview question, what are your weaknesses? You don't want to just say, here's a list of all the things I'm bad at or what my weaknesses are. You want to show the hiring manager that, yes, I'm self-aware enough to know where I need to improve, and here is actively how I'm working to improve it and how I plan to improve it in the future. That's a much better answer than saying, yeah, I have no management experience. Well, better answer would be, well, one of my weaknesses is leading proactive teams or leading teams. And here's why, or here's what I'm working on in the past few months to get better at it. And if I were to get this position, here are the things I would do to continue to build on that success and be an expert at team management or leadership. Now, another aspect you can look for here, Cassandra, is see if you can find the job description for this role. Whether it's from HR, which you maybe have careful about, that doesn't fire up any flags that you're asking HR for a job description that's not yours. So play that one depending on how your company is. Look online or a shared drive somewhere that might have it. This way you can explore other avenues for improvement as well, just to round things out before that job opens up. Now, the one other thing right now you should be doing is do not forget to update your resume. Have it up to date and ready to go when that job opens up. Don't scramble and edit it once the job opens up. Make spelling mistakes, things like that. Get it done and keep proofreading it until the job opens up. So, Cassandra, thank you so much for the question. I always find the dynamics of office politics and jockeying for different positions interesting. This really depends on how much groundwork you've laid beforehand, what your reputation is like in the organization, and how well you're regarded. Now, some of these areas that you might be lacking in, if you have a great reputation, you're seen as a high-value worker, and you have high visibility to senior leadership, it might be much easier to get some of these roles. Now, whether or not you have enough time to do all this before this new role, I'm not sure, but this is something to keep cultivating in the future, especially if you work in any kind of corporate role. Now, regardless if you are in a corporate role or whatever kind of role you are in, it is always important to step back and look at what your next step is going to be or what your next step could possibly be. You don't want to get into the position where you want to make a move, but the role you want to move into, or where you want to go, the company you want to jump to, or the new business you want to start, you're lacking qualifications or experience. You need to actively plan your career and plan your future and make sure you're doing the activities to get to where you want to go. This is something I learned probably later than I would like to, but it is always important to be working towards the future and not just treading water on today. So thank you for that question. I truly had fun answering that one. And for everyone else out there listening, if you have a question for me, it's eric@marketingsos.ca. I am here for you and I want to help. So drop me a line. And it'd also be great if you drop me a ratings and review on whatever podcast app you use to listen to the show. It would truly help grow the show, and I really appreciate it. So thank you in advance for doing that. Thank you everyone for listening. That is it for this week. My name is Eric Yee, and I'll talk to you again next time.